Hey guys, how's it going? It's Wednesday morning, 27 below. So yeah, it's cold as hell, but the sun's shining. I got out here about 6 a.m. this morning. I'll get to that. Before I even get going though, I want to give a shout out to, let's see, who was it? J.R. Shayworth and, boom, go back here. And Mardo1, very generous support for the channel. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Anyway, so the last video was Monday. We're attempting to get that lifter noise out and didn't have a whole lot of success. Yesterday, my buddy said he would come over. He's a mechanic, retired, 35 years. He's built dozens of these engines. He knows them. So anyway, I set everything up. I took the valve cover off. I backed off all the lock nuts on the rockers. Took the plugs out so we could turn the engine by hand easier. Took the power steering belt off just so we can get our hands in there because he left half his arm on my fan blades the first day. So got that all ready for him. And we started from scratch, set everything to 0 lash and 3/4 of a turn on each one for preload. Put it all back together, fired it up, and it was pretty freaking good. We gave it some RPMs, and then the tick noise started coming back. So okay. So anyway, packed it in for the day. He did, that is, and he was going to be back here tomorrow. But he texted me last night. This is Wednesday, by the way. He texted me last night. I guess it was bugging the shit out of him. He said, "I've got 2 hours in the morning. If you want me, I'll come. If you want to, I'll come by." I said, "Sure." So I tore everything down again, and but I didn't back off the rockers. I left them there because there was some little bit of play in about 4 of them. So he checked it out. Okay, it was more side to side play than up and down play, but they're nonetheless enough to make a tick, maybe, I don't know. And he did comment the day before that when he was bolting down the rockers, that several of the lock nuts went on too easy. I mean, you didn't have to put a lot of work into the ratchet to get them down there. So this morning he saw it, he checked it all out, he backed off all the nuts, and we inspected things a little closer, pulled push rods out, checked out, make sure they're all straight. 2 of the push rods showed a little bit of wear on one end, kind of flattened a little bit. So we changed them out because I have an extra 350 in the corner. It's the same 0010 block, identical, same engine. It's got 82,000 original miles. So I pulled the 2 push rods, which looked really good. We swapped them out. We swapped out 5 of the rockers. They showed a little bit more wear where it's in contact with the push rod, with the ones that were on my spare engine. So we changed 5 of those and took off 5 of the lock nuts on the rockers that we changed, and they're good and stiff, so they're not going to back off on their own, because we think that's what was going on here. As it warmed up a little bit, excuse me, the nuts would back off a little bit, throwing the adjustment off. So we did all that, set our valve lash again to 0, and we did it. We went to number 1 cylinder, top dead center. We did the exhaust valves. No, we're only doing the even number ones. So 4 and 8 on the exhaust, and number 2 on the intake. Rotated at 360 to where number 6 is top dead center. And when the exhaust, we did 2 and 6, and the intake 4, 6, and 8. Yeah, set that to 0 lash, gave it 3/4 of a turn, plus just a little tweak. Put it all back together. We got it. It's good. Sounds really good. Plus, this thing needs to be driven. That's the bottom line. You gotta get it out there and let everything pump up and get good. So I'm super happy with it. Now the other major concerning issue that popped up on Monday when we fired it up, the heater core leaks. So I've got to pull that thing out, get it to a rad shop and get it rebuilt, because the price of a brand new one is ridiculous. It's silly. I'm not paying that, you know. I'm sure I can get it rebuilt for a quarter of that price. I think they wanted $850 for a heater core. Ridiculous. So anyway, gonna pull that out. It's gonna be a bitch. I'm gonna have to do make like a circus clown and a contortionist and all that stuff to get the ones in behind. I'll show you what that's all about in a bit. But yeah, it's running good. Sounds good. Keep in mind now, I don't think it's any secret that I use my phone as my camera, and the phones, for whatever reason, pick up sounds differently than your ear does. I've listened to my own video, and yeah, it sounded way worse in the video than it did by the ear. The phone, for some reason, picks up certain tones and whatever frequencies or whatever it is, magnifies them and muffles other ones. You'll even notice sometimes when my compressor is on, you can hear it in the background, and then when you go to spray, you can barely hear the compressor because the phone's picking up, for whatever reason, the noise that the spray gun's making, not the compressor. The compressor is way louder than the spray gun. So that's part of it, I think. You know, I had 100 different suggestions on to what it was and what the problem was. Everything from crank bearings to fuel pump to fuel pump push rod. What was the other one? Flat cam, flat rockers, or not rockers, lifters, bent push rods, worn out rockers, which ended up being part of the deal. 2 not bent push rods, but worn push rods, and those freaking lock nuts. One of the ones I replaced on this engine, because I put everything back on the other engine, I was able to tighten it all the way down to the rocker with my fingers. You shouldn't be able to do that with a lock nut. So we think we got her. I'm happy with it. But anyway, I got to get that heater core out. That's a big deal. Pain in the ass. But it's got to be done. That's got to have heat and defrost. So got to let the carpet dry out because I got it wet a little bit. I'm glad I just used water instead of putting antifreeze in it. Get all these bugs out. But we got her now, so I can move on to other things. I'm going to go ahead and get that heater core out, and yeah, keep on jamming on this thing. So there you go. Stick around. Might have even more fun. All right, so you can hear my furnace is running. It's probably going to be running almost all day. It's like 25 below. Oh, it just shut off. Cool. Okay. I'm not using, like I said, high-tech cameras with the proper microphones and all of that. I just record everything on my phone because old Dirty Dan here is on a tight budget. And that's just the way it is. So, you know, the sound is a little bit different, but you're definitely going to be able to hear the difference between now and the previous video. Also, keep in mind, this is a Comp Cam's Mother Thumper. It's got a pretty good lift to it. I don't have the numbers with me right now. I'd have to dig out the paperwork. When I bought all those parts for this engine from a local speed shop, I'd asked the guy. I said, look, cam and lifters come as a kit. What about valve springs? Do I have to change those? Oh, no. So I read up on the cam before I put it in. And of course, big capital letters and bold black, you know, you must change the valve springs or the cam is whatever, right? Okay, so I ordered the valve springs too. So everything was changed. Everything goes together like it's supposed to. And yeah, so it's pretty lumpy. It's got that ka-chug, 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 ka-chug thing going on. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to let you listen to it. I'm going to fire it up. I'll go back and catch the exhaust as well, the sound at the back. Yeah, it sounds pretty tough actually. Anyway, I'll move the camera and we'll fire this thing up. So we'll go down here a little bit and over. There we go. Okay. Ka-chug, 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 ka-chug. Way, way better, man. Sounds pretty freaking good. And we'll check out the exhaust here. And then I'm going to shut this thing down before I die. I like it. I like it a lot. So there you go. Problem solved. Thing is staying nice and cool. The electric fan is doing its job. Yeah, no issues here. We're good. My next biggest problem is that stupid heater core. These two here are pretty easy to get at, of course, the studs. But there's also 3 fasteners that bolt this way into the cowl on this side of the louvers in behind the heater core. So they're a bitch to get at, and I got at it with without the seat in place, and it was a lot easier. Now that the seat's in there, it's going to be that much harder. We're going to be doing some major yoga here to try and get that thing out. I'm not going to show it to you because you're not going to be able to see anything, and actually I'm not going to be able to see anything either. So yeah, once I get it out, I'll come back then. But yeah, I'm stoked. It's pretty good. I like it. All right, so the first day we were dicking around with the valves, we used this little deal here that I made a couple of videos ago, and oil was everywhere, especially this inner fender, absolutely covered in oil. I'm going to clean it up. Just going to use brake clean. Spray it, wipe it down, we should be good. There's a little splatter on the firewall, even on the other far inner fender. I'm gonna do a general kind of cleanup. I've got my heater hoses disconnected. I'm going to pull them through this way, and the heater core itself actually is not going to be that bad. I can get a socket on them pretty easily with a long extension. So that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead, pop the battery out, get the hoses out, and spray this down. So now that I've got this thing running good, there's no reason why I can't put the hood on. So, up, down. Down. Shit out of my way. I'm gonna clean rag for this. So there's no question I've got good oil pressure. Actually, when I started it up, I think I had the first time 52, 54 pounds. That's pretty good for a small block. Brake clean is wonderful stuff. I'm just happy that it was a relatively easy solution to the problem. Man, she's dirty. Well, furnace is getting this work out today, I tell you. Sorry about that. Oops. According to the weather, first decently warm day, and actually the only decently warm day, is going to be Saturday. So I've got to paint the tailgate and the headliner pieces Saturday for sure. My last chance. This thing needs to be done next week. Next week, I say. Next week. Get some mothers out, shine up them valve covers. That would be when I'm doing the final buff and polish and all that stuff. The whole truck's gonna have to be gone over with the buffing machine. All the dust and having it covered, uncovered a bunch of times. There's a few, I can see the odd hair-on scratch here and there, but the buffer will take almost all of it out. But yeah, it's going to be the last thing we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to finish on getting that heater core out. And tomorrow or Friday, I want to bring it into the rad shop. I've ordered my breather. That should be coming in in the next couple of days. And that'll be it under here. Done. Awesome. Anyway, I'm going to keep this video today short and sweet. But I'm calling the engine a win, and super happy with it. Awesome. All right, so there you have it. Man, I am so glad we got rid of that friggin' lifter noise. That was driving me crazy. Yeah, sounds tough. Sounds really, really good. Super pleased with it. And this thing wants to go, man. It's gonna have some balls. It's gonna move this little truck around pretty friggin' good. So yeah, I got to get that heater core into the rad shop. And like I said, Saturday is the only window I'm gonna have over the next 2 weeks, because it's just gonna get cold again. So I think it's getting up to like -5, -4, and I can work with that. But you know, 15, 20 below, it's too cold. It just wants to run on you, and then if you get a run around all those raised letters on the tailgate, you're going to be looking at a respray, because it's going to be almost impossible to sand that out. It'd be just a pain in the ass. It'd be a disaster. So I'll wait till it's warmer. Worst case scenario, I'll do one side laying down. When it's hardened, or after a day or so, I'll do the other side laying down, and then you won't have any runs. But Saturday's the day. So yeah, she runs good, man. Awesome. So if you like the content, please subscribe. You know, tell your buddies and help spread the word and all that good stuff. Like the video, one of those. Always helps the algorithm, as well as leaving comments. That always helps as well. And thanks to everybody who commented on the last one. It was, like I said, I got dozens of different suggestions as to what it was. I knew it wasn't anything serious, but I know that in the video it sounded more like a knock than it did or a loud, very loud tick, than it does to the ear. But all good. So it was a minor deal. Just had to take your time and go over things a little bit and straighten it out. So yeah, and if you feel so inclined, you can support the channel. Just hit the little menu button right beside the share button, to the right of it, on the bottom of your screen, and click on that. Click on where it says thanks, and you can buy Dan a coffee or a beer there. And any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.